Chapter 10. Mutineers. That evening, I felt like a king. I had my own land. The whole island was mine. I had 3 people in my kingdom. Each one would do anything I told them to do and would die for me if necessary. Of course, I had to feed them. Friday and I made a huge dinner with goat meat and corn. We made rice and meat soup and had a very good dinner. After dinner, I sent Friday to bury the dead savages and bring back the guns we had left there. I asked Friday and his father whether they thought the canoe with 4 savages would be able to return to their country. They thought that they would all drown in the storm. If they did get back safely, would they come and attack us? I asked. We think they would be too frightened because of the guns, they replied. I discovered later that they were right. The savages did return to their land, but were so frightened that they never dared to come to my island again. Then I spoke to the Spaniard. He and the men with him often talked about escaping, but they had no boats, tools, or food. I thought that if we could get them all to my island, we could build a big boat together. It might be big enough to sail a long way and escape. However, I was worried that they would turn against me. They were all Spanish, and I was the only Englishman. However, the Spaniard promised that they would not hurt me. I decided that I would send him and Friday's father to bring them to the island. The Spaniard, however, said we should wait. You will not have enough food, he said. For so many people, we should build a bigger farm and grow more corn, so that we will have enough food for everyone. This was good advice. We all dug for a month. Then we planted the corn. It would take 6 months to grow. I went all over the island looking for good trees to cut down for the ship we would build. I increased the number of goats in my fields. We hung many grapes on the trees to make raisins and made more baskets and pots. When everything was ready, I put the Spaniard and Friday's father in one of the canoes. I gave them each a gun and enough food and water for a week. Friday and I watched them leave. I was very excited. I thought that this was the beginning of the end of my time on the island. I would leave it when they returned. I didn't know that I would leave it before they returned. One day, I was asleep in my house when Friday ran in to tell me that he saw a boat coming. I ran out to see, but it was not the Spaniards. I did not know who it was. I told Friday to keep out of sight. We must first know whether they are friends or enemies, I told him. I went to the top of the hill. From there I saw a ship lying at anchor. It looked like an English ship. The boat coming toward the beach looked like an English boat. I was very excited yet confused. I did not know what to think. I had been on the island 28 years. The thought of talking to an Englishman again was very exciting, but I was afraid. Why was an English ship here? It was a long way from where the English sailed. This was the Spanish part of the world. I decided to wait longer before letting them see me. I counted 11 men on the boat. They came to the shore, and some of them got out of the boat. I was surprised to see that 3 of the men were tied up like prisoners. I did not know what was happening. I expected to see the 3 prisoners killed at any moment. I wished that the Spaniard and Friday's father were still with me, so that we could rescue them. Some of the men walked up the beach, and the prisoners sat down. They looked sad. 2 men had stayed on the boat. They fell asleep and did not notice the tide going out. Soon it was too late to get the boat back into the water. They had to wait until the next high tide. They might find my house. I got everything ready for a fight. It was a hot day, and the men were tired. They lay down under some trees and fell asleep. The 3 prisoners still sat on the beach. I came close to them and spoke to them in English. They were very surprised to see me. Don't be afraid, I said. You may have a friend where you do not expect to find one. One of the prisoners told me that he was the captain of the ship. His men had mutinied against him. The other 2 men were the first mate and a passenger. The men had decided to leave the 3 of them on the island and sail away in the ship. I can kill them all while they are sleeping, I said, or I can make them all prisoners. What would you like me to do? 2 of them are very bad, he said. I think that the others will obey me if those 2 are killed. We moved further away from the sleeping mutineers. I told the captain that if I decided to save him, he had to make 2 promises. First, he would obey me while he was on the island. Second, he would take me and Friday to England without payment. He agreed, and I gave each of them a gun.